Everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Anthony Maglieri. I'm running for the Kendall County Board. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about community solar. I've done other videos about government solar projects in Kendall County and residential private solar installations. But there's something really cool that really there's no reason not to do for anyone, whether you rent or own, and that's community solar. And today I've got Mike and Keith from Nexamp. They're one of the community solar suppliers here in Kendall County. And I invited them to talk to you guys about how it works and all the advantages of it. I really failed to see a downside, so I think everyone's really pretty excited about this. So we've got Mike in sales, and Keith is manager of communications for Nexamp. He's probably not going to be too involved in our communication, but he's going to be listening in and catching us if we say anything wrong. So go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Keith, you want to start?
Sure. So yeah, Keith Hevenor, and I'm communications manager for Nexamp. We're a Boston-based company involved in clean energy, solar, and storage. And we're really excited to be involved in the Illinois market and excited for some of the advancements that are being made in Illinois toward the clean energy goals. As Anthony said, community solar is one piece of that, and we feel like it's a really great opportunity for folks to get involved in clean energy, kind of with no risk, no upfront investment, and just a great opportunity to kind of makes it available to everyone. So Mike will go through the program and explain how it works, but excited to be with you today.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, hey guys, my name is Mike and I work on the sales and education team. My job is basically just to help people understand the program, and after they understand it, if they want to sign up, we're always happy to have them on one of our solar projects. So I'm going to go ahead and give the presentation first. It's quite short, just hitting on some of the main points. And probably the most interesting part of the convo will be with Anthony and I at the end, discussing some of the ins and outs. So I'll start that now. Okay, great. So yeah, as Keith mentioned, we were named our company's Nexamp. We were founded in 2007, and we're operating in several states now. We've got live solar projects, more than 50 of them in New York, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, and now in Illinois. The main reason why, I apologize, the slideshow's not. The main reason why we're allowed to do this is that states basically want to promote clean energy within their state. For Illinois, this is the Illinois Shines program, and we'll obviously provide, there's a brochure that's really important that all potential customers should read through, answer a lot of commonly asked questions. We'll provide that to Anthony for your viewing. But basically, this allows individuals, as Keith mentioned, renters, owners, pretty much anyone to subscribe to community solar, support clean energy in the state, and save some money in the process as well. So the way community solar works is pretty straightforward. As you can see in this graphic, there is no change to the actual homeowner, the land itself. So people usually think of panels on your roofs, but that's not what's happening with our program. The same power lines that have always come to your house from the utility grid are still there in place. So if you're on Ameren's grid, you're an Ameren customer. We just have built a solar farm that feeds clean energy directly into Ameren's utility grid. What happens is we take a look at how much electricity you're using over the year, and this is really targeted at covering the supply charge portion of your bill. So the delivery and taxes and fees you'll still be paying to Ameren. But we're looking at your supply charge and trying to match that. So if you're using, let's say, 1,000 kilowatt hours a month on average for your electricity supply, then we're going to allocate the number of panels on our farm that should produce a similar amount. And the way that you're saving money with the program is that those kilowatt hours are subtracted from your Ameren bill at Ameren's rate. So if, for example, Ameren's rate were 5 cents 1 month, you would see, if we had produced 1,000 kilowatt hours for you, you'd see $50 subtracted from the supply charge. So 1,000 kilowatt hours multiplied by 5 cents, $50, you see that taken off of your bill. And you then basically owe us 20% less. So you're reimbursing us at 20% less than Ameren's standard rate. So you'd be reimbursing us at 4 cents. So instead of the $50, you'd be paying us only 40. So you'd save about 10 bucks that month. And I'll get into that when I'm going to show you the examples of bills in just a moment. But the supply charge portion is what we're impacting. And if we're doing our job right, it means you're saving 20% on that portion of your bill over the year. So here are some of the main points that are important to understand. As I mentioned, if we do our job right, you're saving 20% on the electricity supply over the year. You're still an Ameren customer. You're staying that utility grid and nothing changes on your property. You would be supporting clean energy in the state of Illinois, which is always great. There are no upfront costs, and this is an important part. People are always curious about contracts. We don't have a long-term contract. Basically, you sign up. You're on the farm as long as you'd like to be. If you decide you want to leave Ameren's utility region or you're unhappy, you can just give us a call and cancel. The longest it would ever take to get you off of one of our solar projects is 90 days. Usually takes less, and there's no cancellation fee.
And Mike, I'll just stop you right there. One
Yeah.
thing to me that was really attractive about this is that I'm considering doing solar on my own home. But, you know, even or not, if I'm able to get that done or not, I went ahead and signed up for community solar because, you know, worst case scenario, I just let these guys know if I'm going to go through with it 90 days ahead of time, or it can still offset if I don't use all the consumption I use, right? So there's really no downside. You save 20% off of your supply cost, and you can quit anytime, and you are getting the majority of your energy, hopefully almost all of it, when Mike's gets you the right number of panels on their farm from the sun, right? So win-win-win all the way around.
Yeah, no, what you mentioned is true. It's even, as you mentioned, slightly better. So if you end up deciding that you want to get panels and you want to cancel with us, no fee, very easy. Usually takes a couple months, 90 days at the most. But also, yeah, if your roof can't hold enough panels to cover your entire usage, that remaining portion is still eligible for our community solar program. We have some customers who actually have already signed up that have panels, and we're covering the remaining portion. So it's a great way to kind of add on to that if you're interested in doing that. So yeah, that's an excellent point. Another thing that's important that I did want to mention is the cancellation, there's no fees. There also aren't any other fees in the program. So we don't charge you anything to sign up. There's no upfront investment costs or anything like that. And there's no monthly or yearly membership fees. So, you know, the savings you're seeing on the supply charge, those are really dollars in your pocket. There's no kind of, you know, backdoor fees or hidden fees in the program. And last, there are some programs out there, and panels are definitely one of those, where they do have credit checks. And for our program, you don't need to go through a credit check. So we always like to give an example of a bill, because people typically are interested in billing. It's one important thing to understand about the program. If you are on, you know, auto pay with Ameren, you can set us up on auto pay. So you're just taking these steps out of your hand. But we always like customers to know that if you are paying manually, there will just be one extra step each month. You're going to be paying Ameren for the delivery portion of the bill, and taxes and fees, and then the supply portion you'd be paying to us, but always at that discount that I mentioned. So this is how it looks on a regular bill. You would see whatever we had produced. In this case, we used 1,000 kilowatt hours multiplied by whatever Ameren's rate is, subtracted. So if Ameren's rate was 4 cents and we produced 1,000 kilowatt hours, you'd see $40 subtracted from the bill. You're seeing these kilowatt hours we produced subtracted. So you no longer have to pay that $40 to Ameren. You then get a bill from us with that 20% discount taken into effect. So the 1,000 kilowatt hours, you're not paying us at 4 cents, but you'd be paying us at about 3.2 cents in this example. And so you would save about $8 that month. And so it depends on the actual dollar savings, will depend how much you're using, but you're always going to get that 20% off of Ameren's rate on every kilowatt hour we produce. The last thing, just because people do ask, the panels do produce different amounts of electricity through the year. So you're going to see more kilowatt hours produced in the summer than winter. The nice part about how Ameren's program is set up, that won't impact you too much, because any kilowatt hours we produce above and beyond the supply charge portion of your bill just sit in a bank for you. You can see in the top of this chart the excess credits generated. Those will sit in a credit bank for you. And then in the winter months, those kilowatt hours can be applied to your bill when the farm's not producing enough to cover your whole supply charge. So it's just a way to even it out through the year, since there's going to be different amount of kilowatt hours produced on a monthly basis.
So Mike, on this chart, I'll ask you, so if I were to sign up this winter, let's say I watch this video, it's November, and you guys get fired up. So when the farm that you guys are setting up is not producing, I still may have to buy some at the beginning of this year. I still may have to buy some at the normal ComEd or Ameren price here at the beginning of the year, until the summer when the sun really starts firing down on that farm where you guys are generating excess. I'm only getting credit on my bill for what I've used, but the rest goes into my bank. and then by next winter, I'll be using some of the stuff out of the bank. Is that right?
Yeah, so the way it works is a solar farm that goes live in the winter, you're correct. There could definitely be a couple months at the beginning where we're not producing enough kilowatt hours to totally subtract your supply charge. So maybe you're using 1,000 kilowatt hours, but we only produce 500. In that case, the 500 that we didn't cover, you're paying to Ameren at the normal rate you always have. And then the 500 we produce is what you'd be getting that 20% off of. And then as the summer comes around, that's when we'd start ramping up. And from then on, you should likely not have any months where you're having to pay Ameren for a portion of your supply. That's really the goal.
And that's where your job comes in, right? People will send you or another representative for another one of these community solar programs a copy of their bill. You'll look at it and you'll try to gauge exactly how many panels we're going to need on your farm at our specific residence to kind of find a magic number to where you guys aren't overproducing and creating energy that you're not getting paid for, and that we aren't having to pay too much at the normal rate, because we want to try to get 100% of that bill covered at 20% off. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. So we make an analysis and see how many panels would be necessary to cover your yearly usage. And so that's going to take into consideration the seasonal fluctuation that I just mentioned. And the nice part is, we've been doing this for quite a while. I've got more than 50 live solar farms, so we're pretty good at that allocation process. But if for some reason it was a little bit under or over, or there was a situation where maybe your usage drastically changed, someone moved out of the house, you got an electric car, things like this, we can change the allocation in Illinois every 3 months. So there are mechanisms in place to make sure we can kind of move that to get it more in line with your usage down the line where there a change.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. That is pretty much it. I know that we've spoken before, but if you had some additional questions, I'd love to answer those for you.
Sure, yeah. If you want to stop sharing your screen, maybe I'll share mine, and we can keep going here. So I guess one thing that I wanted to try to ask about before I go into these cool pictures that you sent was, let's see here now, the idea that when we get, I guess going up and down, I know when we spoke earlier, you said, we're going to try to size it correctly to you. It is easier to go down than up because there's such demand. Everybody wants to get on these farms. So we can't necessarily guarantee that we're going to be able to go up really, really fast. I mean, it's your job to get that out, but going down, if you're worried that, they will size you down or help you size down, it's pretty easy to go down, less easy to go up, right? Is that it, Mike?
Yeah. So basically, because there are usually, these farms sell out pretty quickly and they're wait list forms. If there were a situation where your usage was lower than anticipated, or there was a change where we had to lower your allocation, that's very easy for us because that opens up panels for other customers that want to get on the farm. It is a little harder to go up. That would essentially require us to wait for a customer to move out of the region. It is always possible. We usually can get it done within 3 to 6 months, but it wouldn't be something that would be immediate. So it is definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so when you're talking to Mike, if your power bill just went up, like you just got your new EV, but it's maybe not reflected on your bill, you just got your new electric vehicle, you've been plugging it in, but only for the last couple of months, just let Mike know, hey, this trend is going to be heading forward. Maybe get me one extra panel or do your math. Just know it's probably going to go up, and it's easier to do it now than down the road. And just let him know. But if your usage stays steady, then just send him your bill. And if you think someone's going to move out or whatever, you're getting rid of that hot tub or whatever it is that's sucking down all your power, you can go down pretty easily. You can always readjust that.
Yep,
and I'm sure, is there a mechanism in place to let a customer know, hey, you've got a lot in the bank, you're using too much, we're going to step this down?
So that is one thing that we actually leave to the customer to notify us of. So it's something you want to keep track of. We do have a portal that's quite easy to keep track of your usage, and we have a dedicated client management team that you can call at any point. But that's something you would want to let us know if there is going to be some sort of change, so that we can get that done as soon as possible.
So on my bill that I get from you, I'm paying for only the percentage that I use, or I'm paying for everything that's generated on that farm every month?
Right. Yeah. So it's the latter. So in Ameren, for example, whatever kilowatt hours come off those panels, you're paying to us at that discount. What's important to understand, though, is that it is limited to the supply charge. So there is no situation with Ameren where if we produce more kilowatt hours than your supply charge than you actually used, we'd be charging you for those kilowatt hours that month. They would actually sit in the credit bank, and then they're applied to your bill later, and that's when you would pay us for them.
Okay, so if my credit bank has a whole ton, in it, and I'm not having to pay for them until I use them, what's the
Right.
incentive for me to call you and tell you to turn it down? I guess there really isn't one.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. I think at a certain point, maybe someone on our team would notice that the bank is getting quite large and possibly reach out to you. But we do always, like to ask the customer to be on top of that. But yes, I guess there isn't really a direct incentive for you to keep track of that in a way. So
That's fine.
yeah,
This sounds like it's a no lose for us. If you guys had too many customers like that, you'd probably start to reaching out because you got to
sure,
have
sure,
your stuff balanced strong. So one thing before we get too far into anything else, I just wanted to explain how I came upon Nexamp.
sure.
There's this website called the Illinois Citizens Utility Board. It's great. It's citizensutilityboard.org. They're not partisan towards any of these suppliers, and their whole mission is simply to get good and expensive renewable energy for Illinois citizens, right? Fighting for clean, affordable energy. So that's what they do. So back in January, they went ahead and actually, I think at the end of last year, they posted an article on Arcadia, which is another community solar option, and they followed up in January with a comparison of Nexamp and Clearway on this nice article that I read. And if I scroll down here, they have a nice little chart that compares all the terms of service for both the companies. And they're pretty similar, but there's some advantages that I saw in Nexamp, which is why I called Mike and said, "Hey, let's do this." And we started the process, and he answered my questions here. But as they define it, community solar is an exciting new program thanks to the 2016 law, the Future Energy Jobs Act. Community solar allows ComEd and Ameren customers to now go solar without actually installing panels on their property. Everything you just talked about, but I wanted to help people understand a little bit about how the financials work for this. So as I understand it, and you guys can both correct me if I'm wrong here, for a long time there have been what the Ameren and the ComEd rates are defined by the state government, and for a long time there's been money set aside inside those rates for things like this Future Energy Jobs Act, where they could fund or create grants to help companies fund our transition to clean energy here in Illinois. And what you guys have been able to do is get there's a big pile of these SRECs, and you guys apply for these grants or no interest loans or whatever they are to help you guys fund these massive 3-4 megawatt farms. And then at that point, you guys kind of have a path where there's a lot less risk involved, so we can really start getting these things rolled out. And it's basically been built into the rate that people have been paying for the last, however long. Is that it in a nutshell? Do you guys want to clarify that at all? I'm not sure I have it 100% right.
Yeah, no, in most of the states you operate, there's always, at the bottom of people's bills, there's fraction of a cent they're paying each month to support sort of forward-looking renewable programs. And so there is, that kind of pile of cash you're talking about that the state can utilize to help programs that might make the energy grid more renewable. And we're definitely benefiting as a company from those. It allows us to, build, own, and operate these farms and, still make money as a company while passing along those savings to the customer. And as you mentioned, one of the main goals with this was giving access to people that in the past may not have been able to have solar because they were renters, or maybe the angle on their roof wasn't right, or there's trees in their yard. There's, dozens of reasons why you couldn't end up doing that. So the state wanted to be able to help out its citizens if they wanted to get involved with helping renewable energy and hopefully save some money in the process as well. So, yeah.
Great. No, I really struggled to try to find what the catch was, and I looked for a long time, and I really can't find it. So I'm really excited to be able. And I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of Republicans, a lot of Democrats, a lot of moderate people, and even like the most liberal Democrats. A lot of them don't even know about this. They don't know. They're like big into recycling and green energy, and they don't even know this exists. So I think that's really why I wanted to have this discussion. Do your own research. Nexamp, Clearway. I know if you sign up for Nexamp, they offer you a code, which will give you a $25 gift card for everyone you refer, and everyone that's referred by you also gets a $25 gift card. I will put my code on the screen, but I'm not doing this for the code, guys. Sign up for yourself, get your own code, and give it to your friends, and get your $25 gift cards from Amazon to get started. What I wanted to talk to you guys about, specific to yours, is these where you guys are actually putting these farms. So they are in Illinois, and they are on the ComEd and the Ameren grid to be able to to be able to work, and they can be anywhere in the state as long as they are feeding power into the grid somewhere on ComEd or Ameren. And we're here in Kendall County, and it looks like, yeah, I guess you guys sent me some photos of Illinois solar farms, and this looks like one that's in Salmonock, not at all far from where we are in Kendall County, and this is one that feeds into the ComEd grid. And do you guys have any details on this? It's like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 megawatts. You can see there's a wood fence all the way around it. It just almost goes off to the horizon. It just looks massive.
Yeah, so Keith, I don't know if you want to touch on this farm, but I can tell you just about the general state. You're correct. The way community solar works is all the farms have to be within state lines, and basically they have to feed into the utility grid that the customer's on. So if you're an Ameren customer, you're eligible for any of the farms we have on Ameren's grid. There's currently farms in Edwardsville, Olney, Sydney, West Hollick, Granville, and I think a couple more under, maybe under construction soon after that. And then for Commonwealth Edison, the same holds true. If anywhere on the grid, you're eligible for the program for Commonwealth Edison. It works the same for every farm. And for that grid, we've got farms in Salmonock, Paw Paw, Burlington, Kingston, Harvard, and more, going on after that. So.
And they're not all online yet, right? Some of them are coming in. It looks like this one's not even angled yet. Looks like this is just a picture during construction. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think about half the farms will be going live in the next 3 to 6 months. A lot of the farms, just for people listening, a lot of the farms this fall are actually already sold out. One of the things with community solar is that they do sell out sometimes 3, 4, or 5 months in advance. There are farms though that we have going live in the spring and the upcoming summer. So when they reach out, we'd obviously get them on the one that they get on as early as possible. I think the first one goes live here in the next month or so, and then several others will go live in quick succession after that.
Got it. So that's why, I looked at my last bill that just came out this month, and I think I signed up with you guys a month or 2 ago, and I'm still getting it from my alternative energy supplier, which is probably not a very good deal, but
yeah.
I'm still getting it from them. So I guess I have to wait for you guys to get all these bad boys plugged in and
exactly. Yeah. And we'll do our best to make sure we give you the date on that, so you're well aware of when you should start to see those bills change. And also, I did want to touch what you mentioned, that we always encourage our customers to do as much research as possible about different programs. We like our customers to come into it confident they want to be on our solar farms and knowing exactly how the program works. So,
gotcha. So yeah, this is the Salmonock one for ComEd. This one is Poplar Grove in ComEd. Again, not terribly far. I used to live down in Swansea, Illinois, not too far from Edwardsville, Illinois, and this is Ameren. This might be a picture of you can see they're not quite plugged in yet. The panels still have the little things dangling down there, but when this thing all gets plugged in and fired up, I might be looking at in this photo, since I'm an Ameren customer, one of these panels might just be the ones that are dedicated to my home, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the little panels you see in there, we're allocating a certain number of those to you to cover your usage. So you're looking at the actual panels that would be allocated to you if you were on that farm. Yeah.
Great. Well, it's really exciting. I think I've got one more in here as well. And this is the in only. Yep. This is another one of the Ameren places. Maybe I'm at this farm, who knows? But I'm going to be getting plugged in, and I'm going to be getting juiced up, and you guys are going to be feeding power into the grid, and I'm going to be sucking power out of the grid, and I'll be doing it at 20% less than the normal supply rate. So I'm really excited about it. Is there anything I've missed? Is there anything we should chat about as far as how this works, or anything else customers should know? It sounds like you guys are pretty full right now, and if people sign up today, being September 2020, they're probably going to not be able to get stuff offset until the spring, it sounds like, because your current farms are coming up now.
Yeah, so for Ameren customers, I'm helping people sign up for our farm in December, so it's a little earlier. For ComEd, it would be in early spring. I think March would be. But as I mentioned, they sell out pretty early, so it's always good to get signed up as early as possible. One of the nice features, because there are no fees, you're not really on the hook for anything if you decide to sign up and change your mind later. So yeah, I can give you the contact info for them to reach out and talk to one of our reps, help them understand the program if they have any other additional questions after this presentation. And we can get them on one of those farms as quickly as possible if they're interested.
Yeah, I'll put my refer code and my refer link at the bottom, and then everyone can get their own when they sign up. And what about those gift cards? Do they start coming up as soon as you start get fully enrolled?
Yeah, so the way that works is if you do refer someone, then yes, I think you're correct. You would get that $25 gift card, and then the person you referred, if they sign up, will get that as well. So that's the way that works. For just signing up in general, there isn't a promotion that's given out just for signing up. But if you do refer other people, then yes, you can get that $25 gift card you mentioned.
It happens when they go live or when they sign up? Probably when they go live.
It's when they sign up. Yeah. So
really?
when
Wow.
when the agreement is signed, you get it within a couple weeks at the longest.
Cool. Well, I didn't have one because I just went to the website, so I won't be getting one. But if anyone actually uses my refer code, which I'm not expecting people to do, then maybe I'll get a $25 gift card as well at some point. So, all right. Well, I don't really have any other questions. This is really exciting. And if you rent, there's just no reason not to do this. Even if you want to put solar on your home, just get signed up. And the only downside is you might have to wait a little while to get started because it's such a exciting program. As we continue to do this and continue to roll out, the idea is that we can grow our own energy right here in Illinois and do it at a discounted rate. Really exciting. Anything else, guys?
I think that covers most of it. Keith?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think, one of the things that's kind of exciting about solar as we move forward and you're seeing some of these pictures, the technology just keeps getting better and better. The panels are more efficient, the costs are coming down. Most of our Illinois projects, and I think this one we're looking at right here, but I think almost all of them are now using tracker technology. So we're using the panels that follow the sun throughout the day to maximize efficiency. And one of the other pieces Mike alluded to is that subscribers, customers don't have to worry about this. It's not, if something happens on the solar farm, we have a crew that monitors these assets 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Something happens and productivity drops or we go offline, somebody's dispatched right away. So, the uptime is great. Our customers don't have to worry about maintenance, don't have to worry about installation, don't have to worry about any of those things that come along with the rooftop responsibility. And so it's a nice opportunity, particularly for those who just can't do the rooftop for whatever reason. Their renting situation, their own physical roof, et cetera. It's just really a way to kind of open it up. And it's been pretty exciting. A big part of what Mike does every day and what we all do, he said it at the beginning, is education. Because you start talking about solar and, Anthony, I'm sure you find the same thing when you talk to folks. You say, if you thought about solar, and people dismiss it immediately because 99% of the time they think, no, I don't like the look of the panels. No, I don't really have the money to invest in panels, et cetera. And community solar is still just kind of up and coming. So it's great to talk to folks and have opportunities like this to kind of educate and talk through the process. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, and what I'll finish with it, I mean, what I said earlier in the conversation with as well, I mean, if you do have a home that's ideal for solar and you've got a good credit rating and you've got that southern facing roof, I mean, that is going to be by far the best financial decision you can make. But not everybody has that, or if they have a small roof or they want to do it, but they can only offset half of their use. Well, that's very common. You can only maybe get 6 or whatever kilowatt hours on your roof and you really use 10 or whatever every month. Well, go to nexamp.com, offset that other 50%. There's no downside to it, right? So it's great. Thanks so much, guys, for you guys being willing to do this interview with me. I'll give you guys a link for when it's on YouTube, and you can pass it along to anyone you think it might be helpful for.
Great, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it.
Yep.